How did your dad lose his custody rights? I was 12 when a tornado warning siren went off at 2 a.m. Most kids never think about what their parents would actually do in a real emergency until it happens. I found out the hard way. The sirens were screaming outside our house, and I could hear the wind picking up something fierce. I'd done tornado drills at school a million times. Teacher always said the same thing. Have a plan with your family, know where to go, stick together. So when I heard that awful wailing sound, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I ran straight to my parents' bedroom, heart pounding in my chest. The door was already open, and Mom was frantically pulling clothes out of dresser drawers while Dad grabbed boxes from under the bed. "Grab the photo albums!" Mom shouted at him, pointing to the bookshelf. "What about me?" I asked, standing there in my pajamas with my hair all messy from sleep. Neither one of them even looked at me. Dad rushed past me carrying our old wedding albums and some jewelry boxes. Mom was right behind him with her arms full of important papers and more pictures. I followed them downstairs, my bare feet cold on the hardwood floor. I could hear the thunder getting louder outside, and the rain was starting to hammer against the windows. The emergency radio was crackling with warnings about rotations spotted just a few miles away. When we got to the basement door, Mom turned around and saw me standing there. "There's no more room," she snapped, like I was asking for something unreasonable. Then they shut the door right in my face. I stood there in that dark hallway, alone, while the whole house shook from thunder. The sirens kept wailing, and I could hear the wind outside getting stronger and stronger. It sounded like a freight train was coming straight for us. I tried knocking on the basement door, but they didn't answer. I called for them, but nothing. So I crawled under the kitchen table with Buster, our old golden retriever, and wrapped my arms around him. He was shaking just as bad as I was. That's when it really hit me. If that tornado came through our neighborhood, my parents weren't going to open that door for me. They'd rather save their stupid photo albums than make sure their own daughter was safe. The storm lasted about 20 minutes, but it felt like hours. When the sirens finally stopped and the wind died down, I heard the basement door creak open. Mom and Dad came upstairs looking all annoyed, like the whole thing had just been a big inconvenience. "You should have knocked harder," Mom said when she saw me still under the table. "You could have been hurt if you came down with all that stuff," Dad added, gesturing to their precious boxes. "You'll thank us one day when we still have the photo albums," Mom finished. But I didn't thank them. Not that night, not ever. The next week at school, Mrs. Coleman asked our class to talk about emergency preparedness. "What's something you'd grab in an emergency?" she wanted to know. Kids raised their hands with all the normal answers. Jamie said she'd grab her baby brother. Tyler said his cat. Lisa said her parents. I didn't raise my hand. I just sat there thinking about how I wouldn't grab anything at all. Because when it really mattered, I learned that in my family, I was on my own. 3 months later, I told my guidance counselor what happened that night. She made some phone calls. And suddenly there were people asking me and my parents lots of questions. Turns out leaving your 12-year-old daughter alone upstairs during a tornado warning while you hide in the basement isn't considered good parenting. Dad lost his custody rights 6 weeks after that. Mom kept making excuses about how there really wasn't enough room downstairs, but the judge wasn't buying it.